Patricia, Dr. Holmberg will see you now. Jack, Dr. Green is ready to see you now. Excuse me, Dr. Cole will see you now.
I'm Dr. Edward Goldberg, a gastroenterologist and primary care physician in New York City. What you're about to see contains some potentially disturbing material. There is occasional harsh language as well as graphic descriptions of both sexual abuse and consensual sexual activity. This is not intended to be shocking or offensive, but to offer you a glimpse of the lived experiences of many trans and gender nonconforming people, experiences that are rarely spoken about in a healthcare setting. Without some exposure to this, many well-intentioned providers unknowingly cause further harm to their patients.
Hi, Dr. Holmberg. Nice to meet you. I understand that Dr. Jacobs is your primary doctor. Yeah, I'm sorry that she's out sick today. She's our only specialist for transgender people like you. But I'll do my best to help. So, what brings you in today?
I have a weird itchy rash on my back and stomach. I thought it might have been an allergic reaction to something I ate, but it hasn't gone away. It's been a few days now.
Okay, well, I think I can help you. Your being transgender doesn't seem to be that relevant when we're talking about a rash. All skin's the same, right? So, have you ever had anything like this before? You know what? I tell you what. Let me just look at your chart for a minute.
The only allergy I know of is to pineapples, and that's pretty mild.
Well, looking over your chart, I see that you've been seeing Dr. Jacobs regularly for the past 2 years. That's great. Who'd you see before Dr. Jacobs?
Well, I didn't have health insurance for a period of time, and I didn't see a doctor. I had more important things to deal with in my life than annual physicals. When I decided to transition, I got fired from my job. Even though I was union, I got behind on rent and eventually got evicted. And I ended up living out of my car for a while. At first, I couldn't even find a homeless shelter that would take me. And even when I found one, I couldn't bathe. They didn't have individual showers. I was scared that the other women would freak out if I bathed with them because I didn't pass 100%. But I also couldn't bathe with men. And when I was begging for food in the city, I had to hold my pee until I found a single restroom that would let me in, which is next to impossible when you haven't bathed in weeks. So I ended up peeing in alleys, like a dog.
Have you added or changed any of your medications since you were here last?
No, I'm on the same dosage of meds and hormones I've been on for years.
Okay. You look really good for someone who is transgender. I happen to know that sex change surgery can be pretty expensive.
I had some financial help. What the fuck is wrong with this doctor? Does he really want to know the kind of help I got? Can he handle knowing that I saved up for my surgery by using the one part of my body that has caused me the greatest pain? That left me crying all the time? The part that I've wanted to get rid of ever since I was a kid? The thing is, it's the part men want, even though they would never admit it. When I lost my job, I had no choice but to satisfy those men for money, even though I always cried before and after. But I live in a state of fear that someone at work will find out about my history. I have a good job now, I'm a paralegal at a law firm, but if they ever find out that I once had to sell my body, I don't know what would happen.
Okay. So, when was your last period? You didn't mark it in the chart.
I've been on T for 10 years. I'm sorry. I've been on testosterone for 10 years now, and I've barely had a period the entire time, which is why the bleeding I'm having now concerns me.
Oh, I had a feeling, but I didn't know that for sure about transgender people. Thank you for telling me. How long have you been bleeding for now?
About a week.
Oh, I see. Well, if it's unusual for you to get a period, why didn't you come in sooner?
And I was kind of hoping it would go away on its own. I'm not really fond of gynecologists.
Yes, few women look forward to their appointments with me. Sorry, few patients look forward to the exam. Okay, let me take a look at you. Please lie back. Put your feet in the stirrups. Slide down more, please. More, please. I'm not gonna hurt you.
I know. I remember things, visceral things, kind of detached from what happened. More like a sensation that won't really go away. I was on this camping trip with some friends. It was kind of like a last trip before we go off to college sort of thing. And everybody went to bed, but I couldn't sleep. So I ended up hanging out with these guys from a couple campsites over, and they offered me a drink. And it's hard to explain. You see, this was before I transitioned, so, I guess I looked like a girl. But to me, I was a guy. So I'm thinking they're hanging out with me because, they want to shoot the shit like one of the guys. And the first guy's like, let's go check out the lake. So I go, and it was like down this path. And in the darkness, I stumbled, and he grabbed my hand. And in that second, I knew what was about to happen. And in that moment, I shut down. I couldn't move. It was like I was outside of myself looking down. When he took my pants off, he saw my tighty whities. I wore tighty whities back then. And he laughed. He didn't use a condom. It hurt. I thought for sure he'd give me AIDS. Afterwards, he gets off me, he says, why don't you get yourself some real underwear? Like a real woman.
When was your last GYN exam?
About 8 years ago?
Just try to relax, please. Now I'm going to put the speculum in your vagina.
That word, that V word, that is definitely not what my parts are called. I'm a man. I've got man parts. My parts are more unique than most, maybe, but I'm a man with a front hole, a bonus hole. Did you know there's an entire website devoted to trans guys who have sex with cis guys? I mean, whatever you feel about porn, it's pretty awesome to see people with my body being fully appreciated. I mean, it wasn't always like that. I used to feel, small, kind of apologetic about my body. But now, I have great sex. Whether I'm a top or a bottom, whether with men or women or somebody who's a little bit of both, I do all those things with all those people. And it's fucking awesome.
Dad, I'd like to ask you some questions about your family. You live with your parents?
Uh-huh.
And do you have any sisters and brothers?
Yeah.
What are their names, ages, and where are you in the birth order?
Jay is 2 years older than I am, and Barbara is 4 years younger.
And how do you get along with your parents?
My parents don't really get me.
Yeah. I understand your parents don't really get girls who want to dress like you.
God, dear God, why can't my parents just love me? Why must I spend every night crying my eyes out because I'm not their little girl anymore? Diane is dead to me. I was always Dylan. And sometimes I wish Dylan was dead too. Oh, Mom. Stop asking me when I'm going to have a boyfriend for you to meet. Stop trying to force me into dresses just so I don't embarrass you. Dad, will you ever stop talking about how all queers go to hell? Do you see who I am? God, dear God, have you abandoned me too? You haven't responded to me in so long, and you're all I have left. Are you hiding within my parents? Are you hiding within my teachers? Why won't you answer me? Answer me!
I'd like to talk about school for a little bit. Your mother tells me that previous testing showed you to be quite bright, and that your grades have fallen suddenly in the last few months. So, what do you think accounts for the sudden change in your grades?
I don't know.
Well, how would you say things are going at school?
Fine.
Ain't shit fine behind those school doors. I don't know what's worse, the stares of disgust or the never-ending questions. Your mother lets you leave your house like that? What are all those scars on your arms from? I'm sick of waking up Monday through Friday at 6 a.m. feeling nothing but hopelessness and paranoia. From when I first walk into school, I'm getting ready to snap. From first period to last, everyone is prepared to scar me, getting their chance to engrave freak on my forehead, along with weirdo, woman beater, and man lady all over my body. Why can't they make up their mind? Says a freshman. Is that a boy or a bitch? Says a senior. Who'd want to be friends with an it? Says one teacher to another. I guess no one really grows up after all.
Well, that about wraps up our time today. Was there anything else I should know about you?
Is there anything else I should know about you?
Is there anything else I should know about you?
This film was created with input from both the medical and transgender communities. All monologues were written by transgender people of color and played by transgender actors. For more information, contact the National LGBT Cancer Network.